get in on the action.
Get
Chase and Kevin, how are you doing?
Hey, here we are, man. It's early in the morning for me anyway. It wasn't.
That's right, because we're not where time begins like you are, Andrew. So, but besides that, all good down here in the great state of Texas, and we're excited for some football action today, and we'll see if what happens with the Cowboys. I'm sure everybody will be in their house today later watching the game, so we'll see what happens.
That sounds like a perfect time for you to get some stuff done, man.
You know what?
Go out
whenever the Cowboys
public,
are on TV, if you need to go to the store, whatever.
Right. I went to college in Appleton, Wisconsin, and that's right in the back door of the Packers. In fact, my college was right up the street, literally right up the street, a couple blocks away from the hotel where the road teams always stay when they play in Green Bay, and then they bus to Green Bay from there. But busiest street in town, College Avenue in Appleton. You can walk down the middle of it during a Packer game because everybody in that part is just ghost town.
At home watching or at the game itself.
Yep.
It's always good for the owners to go to the game. So I mean,
right. You gotta show up.
Need to be at the game. So
you gotta get your suite.
Yeah, get it all in there. That would be pretty crazy if I know the whole thing with the owner, the stories, but if every fan kind of lottery you get a chance to be in the suite for a game, and it just kind of once you hit your lottery, have that chance, then you're like back to the line kind of thing.
I'll have to look into the fine print on my paperwork, see if that's available to us, because I am part owner.
So. You are part owner.
So part owner or part ceremonial owner?
Yeah, well, hey, you can't tell us the difference. So
okay, all right.
That's how they keep getting us.
Well, let's look. We had we had one entertaining game yesterday.
And then you had another game was like watching a 50-car pileup on the freeway.
Very quick. But yeah, that Chiefs-Jaguars game, personally, I hit 2 bets on that.
That's right.
I took the Jaguars to cover the spread of 7.5.
Me too, and I was like, come on, just get it below 9.5, and we're good.
But I'll tell you what, the easiest bet I made was right after the Chiefs scored their first touchdown, the spread jumped up to 14.5.
Oh, I would have bet,
and I took it all.
Right,
just definitely taking that.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it jumped like right after the first touchdown. I looked; it was up to 14.5. I took that at -115, and then it was like 2 plays later is when Mahomes hurt his ankle, and I was like, okay, this is money. This is easy money.
Yeah.
So I won all my spread bets last night, which was fantastic. But then that Giants-Eagles game, that was disappointing. I really wanted the Giants to at least make it entertaining.
Oh, I was hoping for such a better performance than that, a better showing for that. Rough game all around.
Yeah, it was like watching a black widow spider eat its, mate.
just oddly specific.
Take it in there, yeah. Hey, well, it wasn't any less horrifying.
Yeah. The mind, goes where it goes. So
I guess so. But I mean, there was some fun, like kind of off the out of left field storylines. Trevor Lawrence has now officially lost a Saturday game. Everyone can shut up about that stupid stat.
And somebody had a lot of time on their hands to research all that.
I know. So he's lost the Saturday game, so that's done. And then Boston Scott continues his tear against the Giants. He has scored a touchdown on every appearance against the Giants. Even though he only has 7 career touchdowns against every other NFL team. He has 9 career touchdowns against the Giants. So Boston Scott, if he ever plays the Giants, next time
who would have bet on Kenneth Gainwell rushing for 100 and what was it, 20?
He had 130
yards, whatever it was he wound up with.
Yeah, 12 carries too,
and a 35-yard touchdown.
Well, look, all the Eagles just basically ran the ball all day. Like that was
they had almost 300 yards rushing.
They were able.
And if we want to make a bet, I'll make a bet right now. There's no chance that'll happen next Sunday. 0 chance of that happening.
Well, it did. So from the DFS standpoint, though, it created an interesting situation where Jalen Hurts most likely underperformed from a point standpoint. If you paid up for him in DFS, Danny Dimes definitely did, and I'm sure people were thinking
Danny Dimes had 109 yards passing. That's overwhelming.
That was a killer.
I personally played Trevor Lawrence in my 2-day DFS lineup, which he got me like 14.5 points, something like that. I'm going to be all right with that, considering especially after watching that game. I mean, I'm sure Burrow and Allen
in the grand scheme of things, it didn't kill you. In the grand scheme of things, it did not kill you. Yeah,
it didn't kill me. And between that, I had Kirk in my lineup. I had Zay Jones in my lineup, and I had Etienne in my lineup. So all of them got me.
You must have watched me and Chase on Wednesday night. Did we not talk about that, Chase?
I actually missed that show Wednesday night. My son wouldn't fall asleep. He had a rough night. But
you must have watched it later on then, because that's what we talked about.
Must have been connected.
That exact thing.
I got 3 boys that never fall asleep, and I still got to watch these shows and deal with them. But yeah, I have loved the value on the Jaguars passing game. Like, from a DFS standpoint,
and even
they've got
Evan
a
Ingram,
sneaky good.
Evan Ingram stepped up, so
they've got a sneaky good receiving core there that like doesn't have the big flashy names and that. But I mean, man, I love the value from them. But talk about terrible timing for that injury to Christian Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he's in the game, Jamal Agnew's not. And now, obviously, again, who the hell knows? If Kirk's in the game, maybe they don't make that big completion to Zay Jones to get them inside the red zone.
Sure.
But, I mean, man, you're in the, you've got that tiny little running back in the game playing receiver for your best receiver, for your number one guy, and making that fumble inside the 5-yard line. I mean, that was a killer.
That crushed my whole spirit right there.
That turnover and that missed opportunity on that drive sets up the Trevor Lawrence interception on the next drive, because now they're in complete desperation mode, as opposed to just, get ourselves in field goal range or get ourselves another score. They were literally in like, oh shit, we're still in a 2-score
they were
game
down
here.
2 scores, so they had to prep it.
You're talking about, if Kirk's in that game, that might be a completely different setup for the end of that game. And man, what a bad break for the Jaguars, but they made it a game, man.
I'm just glad they kicked the field goal, and so it was less than the spread.
Cover your spread. Yeah,
exactly, right?
There you go.
All I know is that, so the rest of that DFS lineup I have for the Saturday, Sunday slates, like I said, I had Lawrence, Etienne, Kirk, and Jones, and between them they scored me 64.58 points. I'll take that, because I still have CMC, I still have Diggs, I still have Boyd, Knox, and the 49ers defense.
Yeah.
So I feel I don't know
how
overly
good I
confident
feel about Knox,
lineup,
but other than that, you're looking pretty good to me.
The way Jaguars turned out yesterday.
What's the contest though? What are you?
It's just like a single entry GPP. It's nothing big. It's like $1.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think first place would win $300. I mean,
yeah. My wife has the money to play higher than that. She doesn't, but I stay on that low level. But it's I mean, hey, I'm ahead for the year. So
they need to bring that down here to Texas so I can get involved in all that, because we still can't do it.
We can do DFS in Wisconsin. We can do DFS. We can do fantasy online and all that. But there's the online betting is off the table right now. So I can't be taking advantage of a 14.5 point live bet spread.
That was I was so excited when I saw that. I don't think I've ever hit place bet faster.
God,
real
man.
Changes.
That's a freaking typo on somebody's. Whoops. Shit.
But it's been a hell of a weekend so far for me on DK, because I hit those live bets on the game yesterday. I didn't miss one. I'm doing good on my lineup so far. And then plus I got a 6-for-6 lineup in golf this week too. All my guys made the cut. I'm crushing. I'm going to end up crushing my co-host Bud in our little one-on-one match.
So better than last week.
Better than last week. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's so DFS is in good shape. But yeah, look, let's be honest. Today is the day that everyone was looking forward to. These 2 games today were the games that were going to be the most entertaining. There was hope Eagles and Giants, but I think everyone kind of knew the Eagles were going to show up the way they have all year, and they were going to take care of business.
Well, there was the question about how they were going to show up, but then they answered that emphatically.
Yes.
And so
well, they looked so bad against the
week
Triple A
before,
team that the Giants set out there
before, whatever,
week 18.
Yeah.
Anything. I keep saying anything can happen with those division games.
They were the number 1 seed yesterday.
Yes,
they were. I've been
And
talking about the 49ers and getting myself physically sick from doing so. And but the Eagles,
They looked like
they're
number 1 seed yesterday.
yeah,
They
they
did
are
well.
all
They did well.
there right now. So
they really are, and we'll see who. We'll see if either the Cowboys and 49ers step up to the plate to look like they even have a chance to compete. It wouldn't just be a hell of a story if Purdy somehow leads these 49ers further here. That would just be just good for the game. It would just be fun.
Again,
Mr.
I've
Irrelevant.
said it before. But that dude has looked. I mean, he does not look like a rookie
No.
right now. And they're not asking him. They're not asking him to do a ton. They're not having him go out there and make Peyton Manning checks all over the place and
right,
try
but
and
he's
run
still
Michael
throwing
Vick
for
style.
3 touchdowns every week. So.
But
that's
he's
a smart
throwing
coach.
for now 3 touchdowns every week. Yeah, he's running for scores. Exactly. Shanahan is asking him to do what he's capable of right now. And the kid has looked good. He's looked like an NFL quarterback. And man, I mean, they have just not skipped a beat. It didn't matter if they had Lance, didn't matter if they had Jimmy G, doesn't matter if they have Brock Purdy. This team, I mean, they are rolling right now. They are rolling right now.
That's
and
right.
Brock
and they
Purdy
don't
has
have
been just
Jimmy
a
G
revelation.
turning the ball over at the worst possible time.
No, they don't.
There
as
you
they
go.
did last year. So
Hey, Brock, go out, take care of the ball, and throw it
That's
to
right.
the best
That's right.
freaking offensive weapon core in the entire league. Okay.
That's the Cowboys' hope to me, is that they turn him back into Mr. Irrelevant. If that does not happen, the Cowboys, I think, are in trouble.
I think the Cowboys are losing this game.
I think they are too.
This is what it came down to. I said this on the corner booth on Thursday night. What it came down to me is that I think this game from a talent level is fairly evenly matched. For me, the difference is what Kyle Shanahan is doing as a coach, given his situation with Brock Purdy. I trust Kyle Shanahan much more than I trust Mike McCarthy.
I've seen so much Mike McCarthy in my life.
Yeah.
to trust him over Kyle Shanahan. Now they're coming off a game where Dak Prescott looked like a world beater.
Yeah, against the Bucs.
Maybe his best.
Yeah, that's a whole
ever.
different scenario. And he was looking impressive. I was impressed. How could you not with the Cowboys beating Tom Brady like that?
They didn't need their running backs because Dak Prescott was doing everything for them.
Yeah, he did. He 4 passing and 1 rushing touchdown.
And again, that's about the only reason I wouldn't. Again, you talk about throwing up in your mouth a little bit, Kevin.
Yeah,
I'm not psyched up about the Cowboys. Possibly making it any farther than this, making a Super Bowl win. But I wouldn't mind seeing Prescott be able to get that Tony Romo and Dallas quarterback monkey off of his back. It has not been his best year. It has not been his
Tony
best
Romo
year.
had a huge, gorilla on his back while he played too. So
yeah,
that's been going on
if Dak can take them where Romo couldn't. Yeah,
2000. Since Aikman retired, it has not gone well for the Dallas.
He looked
Cowboy
damn good last week, though.
He did.
I mean, he did it all, and actually, he's probably he might be the only quarterback that had a better game than Brock Purdy did last week.
That's right, and the part that got me was it wasn't the short field that I thought Dallas was going to force Tampa Bay to give them. They had 4 80-yard drives, that they scored on.
Okay.
And so that was very impressive to me. But I don't think you're going to have 40, 80-yard drives against that San Francisco defense.
Not at all.
So they're going to need to turn Brock Purdy over.
Well, Darren doesn't think that's happening. Darren, he thinks Purdy's the new Tom Brady. That might be a little bit of a jump. I mean, come on now. Tom Brady was not Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah,
he was only picked 199.
6th round,
close, but no, he was not.
He was a 6th rounder. Come on,
close, but yeah. Sorry, I'm just getting over a cough here. And I was going to say, but so
and Tom Brady did not have the performance. Let's be honest.
No,
that Purdy has had. Of course, he didn't need to play as long as Purdy has had to play.
Now, how did you guys feel about Byron Leftwich being? Well, I mean, they fired a bunch of guys, but Byron Leftwich was the biggest name that I saw them fire. That I don't want to say I had an issue with, but I felt like he deserves to have a job somewhere because I do not blame anything on Byron Leftwich at that team this year really.
Well, it's obvious that the media and especially Shannon Sharp, I don't know if you saw that or not, he blamed the whole
busy week.
episode on Tom Brady, which is ridiculous to
Yeah.
the extreme because Tom Brady won't even be on the Buccaneers.
Shannon Sharp has had let's be honest, he hasn't necessarily been in his own head this week.
Yeah, he's had a tough week this week. And so they made a decision. The Tampa Bay Bucs made an organizational decision, and for whatever reason,
cleaning house.
Because I like Byron Leftwich.
Yeah.
And I think he was, what are you going to do when you don't have your offensive lineman in the game? You have no running game.
I don't necessarily think that another offensive coordinator makes them a better running team or more efficient running team than they were.
Agreed.
Leonard Fournette couldn't run from here to the bar.
You know what? I owned
on
Leonard
any run,
Fournette
on any
in
given run,
fantasy, and he couldn't run out the front door.
No,
but he caught passes, and that was his whole value.
Yep.
But the thing because White was the guy that was supposed to be able to run the football, and he did not.
None of them did. They were terrible on a per rush average. They were absolutely terrible this season. And some of that goes back to they had. I've made the joke all year about their injuries on their offensive line that they dropped an offensive lineman every 15 minutes or so. But they actually graded out pretty well this year, PFF wise, in terms of how their offensive line performed for all of their shuffling and injuries that they saw. But they just were completely inefficient running the football. And I don't necessarily know that Byron Leftwich caused that. No, and I don't know that getting rid of him makes that any better. Now, you can argue about, play calls or whatever, but they were not a good running team. And Tom Brady attempted more passes than any dude that's ever played the freaking game. So what do you want Byron Leftwich to do from a play calling standpoint to get around what obviously is your problem in your run game? I don't know. I don't know why he ends up taking the fall for all of that.
Well, at least he's the offensive coordinator. I understand that more than the Chargers firing their quarterback coach because they couldn't run the football more than 6 times in the second half against Jacksonville last week. That makes
the Chargers situation also confusing.
Yeah, the Chargers are their brains are
for them to make the firings
too much moon memes on it. I don't know, but they got rid of the offensive coordinator. They got rid of the quarterback coach. They did not get rid of the coach.
Well, exactly. That's for them to make those firings, but still think that Staley is the guy that's going to get them to the promised land is a joke to me because I think Staley's just proven that he's a good like a decent all-right coach, but he doesn't have that second gear as a coach to take over a game from a decision-making. People were saying, what was the scenario now? Some of the play callings on the offensive coordinator that was going on in that game. At some point, you need to go over and grab your offensive coordinator and say, stop. You got to take control.
You're the head coach.
That's your job.
Why you've got the headphone on and you say, hey, offensive coordinator, man.
We got to change it up.
We've got the RB1 in our backfield. Let's involve him in this offense.
As the head coach, you may or may not, depending on the scenario, depending on the team, you may or may not be making the play call on each play, but each play and what happens is your call. Just because the offensive coordinator is like, hey man, I think we should run it. If you don't think they should run it here, or if you think they should be doing something else, or if you don't think you should have your jumbo package in on 3rd and 1, and you want to put in a regular, set and play your game or whatever, that's your call as a head coach. And Brandon Staley is he's a younger coach, obviously, and he's part of this newer analytic wave of the numbers say we should go for it on 4th and 3 from our own 18 or whatever that we've seen. And I honestly don't have a problem with all of that. But the problem is like you just said, he doesn't seem to be stepping in and making enough.
That's right. When you're the head coach,
running the team standpoint,
you say, no, we are not doing that. We're doing this.
Yeah.
So
it's not like he's not hearing them. He's hearing it all in his headset. All he has
That's
to
right.
do is speak. It's not even like he has to go find someone on the sideline, chase him down in time. Just you just flip a switch under the box and you talk.
Yeah.
And you say, no, I don't agree. Do something else.
Grab your belt, essentially. Yeah. Click that switch on your waistband and say, no.
Yeah. So
right. And then if that's not enough, then you have it like the Cowboys do, have their offensive coordinator on the sideline. So you just grab them and shake them a little bit and say, we are not doing that. There you have it.
Yeah. So if you're going to be a head coach, you got to step up in the time when your team needs it. Or I blame it more on. Well, Staley shouldn't be there, but that's whatever. He's there, I guess. Do I care all that much? No, but whatever. Anyways, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from Manscaped here, and then when we get back, we're going to talk about these 2 upcoming games today and where you can get some DFS value and who we expect to win. So stick around, and we will be right back.
We have breaking news. Manscaped now sells beard products. That's right. They are once again revolutionizing men's grooming with the brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. From a beard trim to a fresh shave, the technology behind the Beard Hedger Pro Kit allows you to shape your signature beard look. Now you can finally use Manscaped products to make your drapes match your carpet by going to manscaped.com and using the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY for 20% off and free shipping. It's time to tame your mane. No one likes a weird beard, so say goodbye to all your stubble and trouble with Manscaped Pro Beard Kit. It all starts with the Beard Hedger. This thing is a juggernaut of fixing faces. First off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard, so no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. That's right, face grooming doesn't need to be hard. Get 20 different beard lengths in just one guard. Plus, it's waterproof, so you can shave in the shower to avoid all that hair in the sink. The titanium-coated T-blade is tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. So make sure you get 20% off and free shipping when you go to manscaped.com by using the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY. Once again, that's 20% off and free shipping when you use the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY at manscaped.com.
Manscaped coming out with that new product in their line of great
products. Coming strong.
My new beard trimmer is on its way. I cannot wait for it to get here. Perfect timing. I think I said before my other one broke, so I've been getting by, making do with what I can. But man, this beard's gonna feel a lot better.
I thought you were really taking it serious, moving into that log cabin or whatever the hell you got behind you. I was like, yeah, all right, there you go.
That's right. You're gonna have bears
aesthetic
sleeping around your bed.
I mean, I did go a little bit further north into New Hampshire, so I guess you can say I'm getting closer to the North Woods up here. So
you're getting ready to go up into the Yukon or what?
No, I love it. Just a little decor, but it's
looking good
here now. But let's get into it.
Sweet belt in the background too.
Oh yeah. The content creator of the year award up there. That thing is heavy. I keep waiting for that shelf to break. Honestly,
we've seen that happen before. Yeah,
I know.
But that was the old house. That was the old.
But that's just like a Walmart shelf that's probably got way too small of a screw holding up that weight. So I'm just waiting for the middle of the night for me to jump out thinking someone's trying to kill me and that thing just crashes to the floor.
It's a bear.
But let's get into this 3:00 game, this first game, the Bengals and Bills. Obviously the rematch from the canceled game with Damar Hamlin and that whole scenario. So with this game being at home and next week being, actually if the Bills win this now, they won't be they wouldn't be at home anyways, but they'll be in Atlanta. But this is the last chance, I think, for Damar Hamlin to be at a game, and I think they're going to do it. I don't see why not. I think the fans are going to. I don't think I don't want to say that the fans deserve to see him. That's wrong, but I think they're going to do it because I think that he wants to see the fans. The fans obviously want to see him, and why wouldn't they?
No, he's been around the facility. He was at the game last week, albeit up top. But I mean,
I didn't think he was. I thought he was.
They said he's been around the facility a ton, and I don't know how much his doctors have allowed are going to allow from him in terms of excitement and stress or whatever. But either way, that's going to be a pretty emotional, pretty charged atmosphere with the team that it happened against just 3 weeks ago. coming into now your town. And I mean, and again, credit to how the Bengals and how they handled
Yes.
it in the city of Cincinnati and everything else as well. And I don't think there's any, obviously there shouldn't be any hard feelings there. I mean,
No.
nobody did.
No.
But
Not at all.
it still will be emotional to see that team come in now, and winner goes home, or winner goes on and loser goes home here. I think he'll be in house. I think it'll be a great atmosphere. Buffalo is generally a good atmosphere anyway, but this figures to be one of those games where you know how in baseball, and Kevin, you know what I'm talking about. Andrew, you probably do too. But in baseball, postseason games there's just a different atmosphere.
Yeah,
That's right.
Every
Absolutely, there
pitch is like the height of drama and the height of nerves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And postseason football, there's a different feeling in the air in terms of like the time of year and everything. But depending on how the game is going, they don't necessarily have that feeling all the time. You just talked about yesterday's Giants-Eagles game that was pretty much over from the time they kicked it off.
Yeah.
But I think that this game is going to just be electric in terms of like the buzz in the air and the feeling from the fans and the palpable feeling that you'll be getting from that stadium. I think will be fun to experience.
100%.
Yeah, I'm sure that it will be. And that's one of the things I think that Buffalo is going to have to figure out a way to keep those emotions, from getting out of control. Because let's face it, they did not look like the dominant football team last week. Neither did Cincinnati, for that matter. But
you don't get three turnovers from Josh Allen very often.
No.
I want to go quickly. I once again just quickly go back to both of those teams played divisional games, played a team for the third
That's
time.
right. So whenever
that's
you
what I
play a
chalk that up
divisional
to.
opponent, throw out all the stats and whatever else. And so, but
Skylar
both
Thompson
of those
doing his best
games
Brock
were
Purdy
much
impression.
closer, I think, than any of us thought they would be.
Oh,
and
nobody
especially Miami playing, the 76th, ranked quarterback back there. And they made a game of it because they turned Josh Allen over. And the Bengals are a much, much stronger defensive unit than the Miami Dolphins are. And so if they can get Josh Allen to turn that ball over 3 times, we might see a completely different scenario going on. The only thing that concerns me about Cincinnati is that their offensive line is deconstructing right before our eyes.
Yes.
They've lost 2 starters. And this is the offensive line, if you'll remember, that couldn't protect Joe Burrow last season to save their own lives. And so that
didn't do a ton better this
concerned.
season. No.
Yeah, and that has me really concerned. And I think that if you look at the line of the game, has gone more to Buffalo's favor simply because of this offensive line situation. And so, I'm as you can obviously tell, there's the Bengals right there. Okay. But
the man of many fandoms.
They are concerning me, right? Their offensive line really concerns me. And their running game, I know Joe Mixon's supposed to be one of those stratospheric type players, but he has not been that this year. No.
Yeah.
And so if they don't get any running game and they can't protect Joe Burrow, this might be one of those games that gets out of control towards Buffalo's favor as the game goes along.
No, Joe Mixon and Leonard Fournette were like brothers in that low efficiency, club this year. Neither one of them had a great year both averaged under 4 yards a carry, and the injuries that they suffered last week.
He had averaged 3.9 yards per carry, and that is not going to make it.
No, not against Buffalo. They're
going
to have to have more out of him. I released my article today on this game, my preview in this game, and I said that if Mixon can run today, it's going to go a long way.
Be able to do anyway because Buffalo's the 4th ranked rush defense in the NFL.
No.
So if you look for Mixon to rush a lot, that's not going to happen. But you need some balance.
If he can. That bodes well for how the Bengals are doing in this game.
If he can, which I don't predict that he will, though.
So here, and you've nailed on one of the first reasons why Tyler Boyd is one of my favorite DFS plays this week, especially in this game. Look, I was on him in the first matchup between these two. He got that touchdown just before the Hamlin injury.
It won't count,
So we never get to see how Boyd was going to turn out, but it was looking good. Boyd, you mentioned the offensive line and the inability to give Joe Burrow time. I mean, that typically not always, but it typically leads to good slot production because you need the quick slants across the middle or, the quick out routes. Tyler Boyd, 601 slot snaps, just under 80%, ranked number 2 in slot snaps there. And he has more routes versus man than against the zone. And he's going to be the slot cornerback for the Bills is one of their weaker spots. And then, unfortunately, once you factor in Hamlin not being back and them having a backup safety, those are the 2 weak spots in that Bills defense right now. 2 spots that, because of the routes that Boyd is going to be running today and because of the timing Burrow's going to have, he should be able to exploit those areas of the field.
And the Bengals were doing that in that game in week 17
Exactly.
Obviously they didn't play quite 10 minutes of that game, but that's where they were making their bones anyway in that game, was on those underneath routes like that. Mm-hmm. In fact, the very play that Hamlin got hurt on was an underneath route to Higgins that he brought across the field and tried to turn up against DeMar.
Exactly.
But so I agree that Boyd and Higgins, I think T. Higgins can run some of those kinds of routes too.
Definitely.
Hayden Hurst as
Hayden Hurst is the guy that if you're looking at a DFS play, look at him.
I like for the same reason you were just talking about those underneath routes that they may be getting.
That's right.
There. I mean, Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase,
sure.
Right?
But he's the guy that you want then drawing that over the top so that you can open that up underneath. And I agree with you there that with their secondary problems there. That may help them out.
Darren, I love this comment. This comment's fantastic. Make sure to paint the word Enton on your cat. Yeah, I got to keep the bear away. I love that. Thank you, Darren.
My brother will not like that comment. All right, just so you know, because he's a Bears guy.
I don't mind it.
I don't mind it either. But just so you know, my brother Brian might be coming for you. Right.
Welcome. Tell him to get on here. Then we'll entertain a nice little war of words.
That's right.
Where the hell is he? He's not defending him right now.
But so look, Boyd. So I mean, I just said Boyd is my favorite kind of value DFS play today. I like also Dawson Knox at tight end, but he's just been money for the Bills receiving game.
Boyd's coming cheap too this week, by the way.
Yeah, he's only 4,000 on DK.
You could fit that into your wide receiver 3 or your flex spot. You could fit that in there.
I mean, I just showed you how I did. So he's in there for me, and I still have CMC, Diggs, and the top defense in the 49ers defense. So I mean, there's some things that are possible this week. There was even a way that I could have, in place of Diggs, I could have gotten Chase in there and made one slight adjustment. But I really wanted Boyd in there, so that's what I went with. But yeah, but Dawson Knox has been great for the Bills passing game, and
I think great is a little strong word for him.
Well, for the tight end position, he's been great in recent weeks.
Qualify that.
He's been catching. So he's been catching touchdowns for them. He's not catching a bunch of passes. He's been catching touchdowns for them.
But that's his MO though. That's his
MO.
They don't use him. Yeah, they don't use him like George Kittle. They don't use him, in between the 20s necessarily. They throw to him in the red zone, but he's been getting red zone looks and he's been scoring.
And then what's tough though about this Bills offense here is obviously Diggs is going to go for 20 catchers and he's going to get his. He's going to be worth every cent in DraftKings. After Diggs though, and after as long as Dawson Knox catches 1 touchdown, he'll be good. After that, it's kind of, it can be anybody. It can be McKenzie. It can be Khalil. What's his name?
Shakir. Yep, Khalil.
Yeah, I wrote it down. Hold on, because he showed up. Shakur.
Yeah, Khalil Shakir, yeah.
But he only had three catches, so let's not get all excited over him.
No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is between him and McKenzie, it's one or the other usually. So you just never know which one.
And it's not necessarily either or of them either now because Cole Beasley's back in the mix and he has that familiarity with Allen, and they have used him. He scored last week.
Well, then very affordable.
In the first half, he was involved and disappeared the rest of the way.
They're all very affordable though. After Diggs,
yes, they are.
They get very affordable in Buffalo.
Gabe Davis is
high upside.
Gabe Davis is even fairly affordable. He's not super expensive.
4,800.
Yeah.
You can fit 4,800 into your 3 wide receiver, 1 flex
Might
line.
want to look at that. 9 targets, 113 yards, and a TD.
Yeah.
Might want to look at that.
He and Diggs were identical, almost literally identical last week, except
That's right,
for the
because
fact
Diggs
that Davis
was 7
scored.
of 9 for 114 yards.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
So
he was
that's
found in the end zone.
So that's why I think this game is going to be close, because I think the Bengals have the deeper, more talented roster as a whole on offense, but it's not that much different than the Bills.
No.
I think the Bills' defense and secondary is better than the Bengals, so it balances out for me. It's this. I honestly don't know who's going to win this game.
This is a heavyweight fight. This is a
I
heavyweight
picked-
It's a
fight.
heavyweight
Bills
fight.
remember,
Like I
my
said, the
pools.
offensive line concerns me. That's why I'm going with the Bills to win.
If
So I'm
Hamlin
ultimately
doesn't
going with the
happen,
Bills too, but I'm not confident about that pick because I could see the Bengals winning.
remember,
No,
if
the Bengals
Hamlin
could
doesn't happen,
obviously win this
the
game. They
Bengals are
obviously
winning that
could.
game. If the
Yeah.
They
Bengals win
obviously
that Week
could.
17 game, this game is in Cincinnati.
Yep.
So if you
It's a
want to
heavyweight
nail
fight.
me down, I'm going to say the Bills are going to win this game.
That's the way
Then
I'm
I could
leaning,
put
but
my
it's like a
Bengals
60
t-shirts away
40%.
for the rest of the year.
I actually had Cincinnati win in this game when I made my rankings at the beginning of the playoffs and trying to decide who was going to be playing 3 games, who was playing 4, who was playing 2. I actually have the Bengals coming out of this one. I think they can. Now, but I do. This is not going to be yesterday's Eagles Giants game.
Neither of
This
these
is going to be
games
much
today
closer to
are going to be
to
that.
last week's
None of
Bills game, I think.
Yeah, both
This
of
will
these
be a good
games are
game
going
to
to be
watch.
close. Let me see. The current spread looks like it's Buffalo's at -6. Which
See, it was
I'm a bet,
4
like, it was lower
when
than
we
that
did
before.
it, Chase. Then it was 5.5 when I looked at it yesterday. Now it's 6.
Quarter 4 only has them at 3.5. Quarter 4 only
check
has this as a 3.5 spread.
That's a little
they've
more
got an over-under of
reasonable to
52.
me than 6.
Quarter
Yeah.
4 has it much closer, and I think that they're probably more in line on this game in this instance because this game could be a complete slugfest.
So that's the lines that are on ESPN, but I don't know how up to date those are. I'm checking DraftKings really fast because that's going to be a lot more accurate.
When I looked at it this morning, it was 5.5. Bills minus 5.5, and so
it's
over
still
under
5.5.
48.5.
See, and I'll take the Bengals at that spread. I'll take Bills
At
outright,
5.5,
Bengals
I
spread.
would also.
And then the Cowboys and 49ers are at 3.5 right now. Cowboys dogs.
Okay. Yeah, that's
But I
3.5. It's been pretty steady from what I've seen, and 46.5 over under, and you might want to go under on that.
I would say I like the under on that. I like the over 48.5 on the first game though. I'll take the over on that game.
Well, quarter
At
4 has it at
48.5.
52 for an over.
52, I'm not touching that.
Yeah, but that's where I'm saying that's where quarter 4 has it. And I think that's more accurate.
Yeah.
I think this. I mean,
52.5. I'm not going.
it wouldn't
over.
shock anybody to see this be a 35-28 type of game, right?
No, not at all.
But with
No, but it
defensive
also wouldn't
matchups
shock
as well,
me because both defenses turn into one of those 24 to 23
this could also
games.
be a
either.
24-17 type game. Exactly. With the
So
defenses they're playing in this
going
game.
under on both of these games today.
I'm really fascinated.
I'm going over on this first game. I'm going to go under on the second game though. Putting those bets in right now. Lock it in.
Lock it in. Lock me in for
They're
under.
done. They're in. They're done. They're in. We'll see if I have luck again today, like I did yesterday. But let's what time is it? We got 11:40 here. Let's quickly take one last quick break here, and then we're going to get into some specifics about the Cowboys and 49ers. And then I do have one closing question for the guys here. I'm going to spring them last minute.
Bring it.
So we'll see. But we'll be right back after this quick message from True Classic.
Football is back, baby, and our new sponsor, True Classic, wants you to look and feel your best even after a couple of brewskis or going full force on your fantasy football draft. Sure, it's football season, but it's also butt to couch season. Luckily, True Classic has the absolute best fitting clothing a man can buy. Snug in the arms and chest with a little extra space in the torso, their t-shirts are designed to keep you cozy and highlight your best assets no matter what you're up to. So if your special someone is upset that you're watching football all day, at least you can look good doing it. True Classic has already helped over 2 million men find the perfect fit at an affordable price. Our listeners get access to the best deal they offer. For a limited time only, get 25% off with the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY at TrueClassic.com. Almost all men's t-shirts are designed to look good on skinny models with six-packs, but most of us aren't packing anything but a few beers. Fellas, you are wearing the wrong clothes. True Classic tees taper off towards the bottom, but they fit tighter around the chest and shoulders. It's time to highlight your best attributes with a t-shirt you can always confidently throw on. It's about time to get your fit together, so upgrade your wardrobe with True Classic and get 25% off at TrueClassic.com with promo code BellyUpFantasy. Free shipping included on purchases over $100. That's 25% off at TrueClassic.com with the promo code BellyUpFantasy. If there's one bet you should make this football season, it's on True Classic. True Classic, look good, feel good.
Look good, feel good. True Classic is always fantastic.
And have a happy wife. Just throw that
Yeah. Yeah, well, some of us don't have that, so well, that was good. You got yourself some like realistic sound effects in that mouth of yours.
That's bringing it.
But let's get into oh jeez.
Stay with us. Stay with us.
Are you gonna be all right? Talk about sound effects.
Yeah, we've touched on the Cowboys and 49ers. Let's get into it a bit more. The Purdy magic is here. I suspect that Purdy is going to be ridiculously owned in DK just because of how everyone's riding the hype and the magic of that, and he's so low priced.
Oh, he's cheap, yeah.
I think people
that's the key to these. He's cheap, and you can splurge elsewhere.
Yeah. So, but realistically, do I think he's going to individually score more than say?
No. If you're going to throw 3 touchdowns today, I'm going to say no.
Mahomes scored 16 points. Lawrence scored 14. Like, I don't see him. Could I see him getting to that same spot? Sure. Like, I could see that being his ceiling, though. So, like, I guess it makes sense. You're spending a lot less money for the same output that some of these other higher price guys. It all depends on who you fill out the rest.
Well,
of
his baseline is 2 scores because he does that every week. Literally, he's done
that every week.
3 the last 2.
Yeah, since he found his helmet and put it on and went into the game.
But
he is
man,
throwing for 2 touchdowns or more every week.
I mean, it's a tough matchup, but it's not that tough.
It's not the Philadelphia Eagles just yet.
No, and he's not playing against his own defense.
That's right. He's not playing against his own defense.
Playing at home, he doesn't have to deal with the Dallas
crowd. And the Cowboys do have the number 8 pass defense, so they can do it.
They're good,
but the problem with them is they got the 22nd ranked rush defense.
Yeah, and
so CMC, Elijah Mitchell, Debo, that's going to be a problem for them.
Yeah, to the moon. That's another reason why I think I cap Purdy's ceiling out around that 15, 16 point mark, just because I think they're going to use everybody. Because why not?
Right. They've got offensive weapons mix that no other team can match.
Yeah,
I'll go over on that. I think he'll go over on that. Now I'm not one of these Brock Purdy jock writers that have been around lately that want to make him out to be like our dude said earlier here, the next Tom Brady here. I'm not on that train, but
no,
I mean,
I'm on the train that he has proven himself to the point where you can trust.
And he's got the deepest weapon roster.
And right. He's got and we haven't even talked about George Kittle yet.
He's got George Kittle, but then he's got the 2 best Swiss Army knives in the entire league in Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey.
He's got Mitchell,
and even if they go
down, he's got AU.
He's got Brandon Ayuk, and he's got Elijah Mitchell coming in.
We're crying out loud. So that's a lot to deal with.
With how Shanahan's been calling the offense, like we talked about, he's not going to ask him to do anything outlandish and crazy. All he's going to do is ask him to please throw the ball to one of the guys with a red jersey and a gold damned helmet.
That's right.
And that's all he has
Just
to
throw
do
it and drain 6-8 yards, and we'll play. The next play, and it's 2nd and 2, and then CMC, gets runs it for the first down. There you go. And that's where there's your script.
I think this game is very simple. I think it's Purdy. If Purdy continues to not turn the ball over, I think the 49ers
that's my key as well.
Exactly.
My key right there.
And if the 49ers as a whole, even if it's not Purdy's fault, if they can stay under 2 turnovers as a team, so if anyone else fumbles,
which they've done all season long,
the game.
They lead in turnover margin. The 49ers do. So
they're facing a good offense. The 49ers
they're
are facing
a good
offense.
Yep.
But
and
they
we've
are
seen Dak
good.
turn the ball over. He didn't
I
last
mean,
week, obviously.
If
but
they just take care of business and do the things that they are going to be asked to do on offense, they're going to fall into 20 points accidentally because they're just that damn good. If they can limit the damage from Dallas's offense and the way that Dallas plays, they'll be just fine in this game. They've been the hottest team in the league for 3 months now.
And they've won 11 straight for a reason.
3 months. 3 straight
3
months. They
months.
have been the best team in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been on a hell of a run here, which is I think the storyline here is just it's just poetry to me. Between the Purdy story, between the 49ers.
That's right. Is he Mr. Irrelevant or is he not? If he's not, 49ers win this game. It's as simple as that.
Well, but then it's also just the storyline of if the Cowboys are just once again a playoff disappointment. I'm also going to just enjoy that because that's just fun.
I'm trying not to let that color how I see this game.
Yeah.
Which they've been since Clinton was in office.
Right. But I'm trying. I mean, obviously, whatever happened in the 97 playoffs or what, you know what I mean? Like, did Des Bryant catch it or not against none of that shit matters anymore. Right.
No.
No. This isn't Deion Sanders and this isn't,
it's not
Joe
Tony
Montana,
Romo
it's not
dropping
Troy
the ball
Aikman.
when he's
I'm
going
simply
for the
just talking
field goal
about a fun
to win the
storyline.
game.
It's like on the peripheral.
No, I agree. I mean, there's part of, I think, all of us out there who are like, okay, well, let's see the collapse happen this year. But I mean, if they play like they did last week, I mean, they came in and
they come out like they did last week, then
things.
Strap on the gloves. It's going to be,
because they didn't even get anything out of Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard.
No, so don't be looking for Zeke in any DFS play.
If they
don't
get
do that.
anything out of them this week,
no. They didn't even get 3
like
yards to carry out of Zeke. Boom. Not 3 yards to carry. That's hard to imagine that they are winning with 3 yards of carry from Zeke.
So the one spot where the 49ers are vulnerable from a fantasy standpoint on defense is at wide receiver. So CeeDee Lamb's going to cost you some money at $7,300.
Which he didn't even show up in the game last year.
Right.
So they're going to have to rewrite that script.
But
right out of the gate,
CeeDee Lamb with he was one of the league leaders in target share.
1,300 receiving yards. So yes, get him involved.
Yeah. I mean, CeeDee Lamb makes a good play this week. I think, even though it's
CeeDee Lamb does. Defense, I like Dalton Schultz over there.
He's at the right position to make an impact this week.
That's right.
Yes.
And so I like him. And Pollard, what's he going to do? Because if Zeke's not doing it, Pollard has to.
I'm not sure either one will. Though. I'm not spending for either one of them because I just don't think either one will do.
No, I wouldn't.
The way I viewed the running back position was CMC, and then I'm just going to take.
No, they're going up.
I ended up taking
the number 2 defensive rushing in the 49ers. So no, Pollard or Zeke are not a winning play this week.
I think. I mean, Zeke can get you. He'll get you points if they can get down in the red zone. Pollard, sure. I think Pollard's receiving numbers might tell the story of how this game is going on offense for the Cowboys. Pollard is most effective when they are mixing him into that passing game, and they are most effective, I think, when they mix Pollard into that passing game. If he comes away with a real low total or doesn't get a ton of targets in that pass game, then it means that the 49ers are taking him away because I think they're going to have to pass in this game. Yeah. This is not going to be last week.
No,
this is not going to where they're going to run away with things.
49ers are the number 2
They're
rush
going to have to
defense
pass in
football,
this game.
so they're going to have to pass it.
But if the 49ers are taking Pollard away, that is going to really limit. I think that means that they are limiting a lot of what Dallas can do on offense, and I think that doesn't bode well for the Dallas offense as a whole. So, I mean, if you want to play Pollard in
if they do what they did last week against the Seahawks with 3 sacks, an interception, a forced fumble.
If you're playing Pollard on DFS, you're banking on him catching the ball. If you're playing Elliott on DFS, you're banking on him getting those red zone touches.
Which don't do that.
Both of those, I think,
that's
are
not a winning play.
They're a little suspect this week.
No. Zeke, leave him in the locker room.
That's fine with me. All right, real fast before we close up here in the last 10 minutes, I do want to get both your takes on the I don't know if it's been out for a couple of days, but I really first started hearing it hit the mainstream news yesterday about the NFL seriously considering future conference championship games always being neutral site.
No,
And I hate it. I hate
that
the
is
idea of it.
awful. Why do you play the regular season if you're not going to give out, awards for being the best? Why are we doing this? No.
Listen,
Absolutely.
anywhere you're going to host that neutral site championship game has a freaking team of their own that could have hosted it to begin with if they'd have just taken care of their job.
Exactly.
Why would you want to punish the city of Kansas City? I mean, this year is
different this year.
Different. And everybody acknowledges that.
Yeah.
But next year, why would you want to punish one of your best and biggest and most rabid fan bases in Kansas City?
That's right. And it's
just
not
in
the
the
Super
name
Bowl
of
where everybody's from the corporate world and all that.
No one does that. Baseball doesn't do that. Hockey doesn't do that. Basketball doesn't do that.
No, the conference
one
championship has the fans in the stadium, and that's what you want to do. To especially like Kansas City fans, those guys would kill to get into the stadium on a championship Sunday.
The NFL's the only one of the four major leagues that does a neutral site championship game. In theory, I mean, you get
they're also the only one that doesn't play a series, though.
But they're the only one that's a one game. Yeah, it's a one game series, and it makes sense because you can guarantee you can guarantee to some extent the weather. You can have it in a nicer location. It's real tough to sell people on coming to Buffalo, in end of January, beginning of February, when they know they could be facing literally 6 feet of snow, right? Mm-hmm. But you could sell people on going to Miami or San Diego pretty damned easily. But the conference championship game itself, that's the whole reason for having the reward of being the number one seed is, I mean, you've taken away the two buys. You've already taken a bye away from one team that could have hosted, right?
Which you've done.
But if you take away that game for that city, I mean, it's essentially it's a punishment and rewarding another city in almost every case. It's going to be a reward for some city for no real good reason.
They don't have to go into the enemy territory to play the game.
If you wanted Atlanta to host the conference championship game, Atlanta needs to win the damn NFC South to start with.
So here's what this felt like.
All you have to do is win 9 games to win the NFC South. So it's not like you're asking a lot.
So here's what this felt like to me. This felt like this is something that behind closed doors they've been talking about for a while. I'm not saying the owners necessarily, but
it sounded like Jerry Jones wants to host more games.
But a certain amount of people
he wants
the NFL execs
at AT&T Stadium. You can best believe that.
A certain amount of NFL execs have been talking about this for a while, it feels like. And then obviously because they are forced to do it this year, if the games turn out that way,
to start.
Then it feels like they're going to be opportunists about, well, if this goes good, we're going to just push this through as fast as we can and see what happens. I don't think it's going to get the full ownership votes, honestly. Even if it did get brought up as a legitimate proposal and voted on, I don't think what do they need? They need 2/3, right? I think it's 2/3 of the vote.
I think so.
It goes
2/3 or 80%.
I don't think they get 2/3 of the votes to pass that. I think there's enough teams out there that believe they have a realistic shot at being in the position to host the conference championship game.
That's a ton of revenue. That's a ton of revenue.
The Seahawks and the home field advantage, and Green Bay for that matter.
Yeah.
Look at the home field advantage those teams generate, and you're going to take that away from them because why?
The impact on the local economy and the impact to the income of a team.
Yes. They count on these playoff games.
It's a literal penalty as opposed to the boon that it is for your team. Making the playoffs, if you can make the playoffs and get to host a game, even one game, you're the 4th seed and you get to host, but that's an extra game's worth of revenue for your team and for your city. And to just arbitrarily shift that from the location where it would be to some rant just because, it's Phoenix's year. You already do that with the Super Bowl. Keep it to the Super Bowl. If you want to do
right,
that
and
with
you
the
do
Pro
that
Bowl,
with the
freaking do it with
you
the
do
Pro
that
Bowl.
with the national, football, college national championship.
Yeah.
Why?
There's plenty of opportunities for these cities that are host-worthy cities.
Yeah.
Right.
To get other events, and they all already have their own football team. You're not going to be playing the conference championship for the NFC in
New England.
Think of, yeah, well, but you're not going to be playing that in a city that doesn't already have a football team.
Right. And
You're
what
not going to Boise, Idaho to play that.
Let's
You're
say
going to an NFL stadium.
Let's say that New Orleans is hosting the game and the Saints are getting there anyway, right? What's
Yeah.
Then
what's the point about
what's the point of all that?
Exactly. Yeah.
But then the AFC teams in that year have an argument.
Yep.
Well, see, the NFC team got to host theirs in their own home stadium, and we don't. Kansas City and Cincinnati, had to go to Indianapolis or whatever, or had to go to Detroit or whatever. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's you're trying to fix something that ain't broken.
Agreed.
And you're not making a whole lot of economic sense for the majority of the people who are involved.
Yeah, I don't even see where the upside is from a money standpoint for the NFL to do it. Like, I don't see how cutting out a massive group of fans that would be definitely going, like, those would be a sellout game. Sure,
right.
Like if it's in the current format. Now, I'm not saying that if it's at neutral site, I'm sure it would still sell out, but you're probably going to get less people buying merchandise at those. Like it's
what you're doing is you're just pissing off
somebody's fan
base.
Yeah,
that's right.
Which already hates you as an organization. They all already hate you.
Good reason, for no tangible benefit to the league itself. I don't know why that would even be other than somebody like Jerry who owns one of the venues that would
it's going to be the same six. It's going to be the same six owners who have
Arthur
the newest, biggest venues.
That's right.
Your Vegas, your AT&T,
you got Dallas,
the new one in
LA,
Atlanta,
LA.
Like, it's
right.
all the new venues. It's going to be the same six, and they're going to rotate. They're all going to vote yes because it's extra money for them.
Yeah, because they're not going to go to Cleveland and play that game.
No, they're not going to Cleveland.
In late
they're
January,
not going to
early
Cincinnati.
February.
Yeah, they're not going
to Pittsburgh. They're not going to Baltimore.
They're not going to Denver. All right.
When they can choose,
so I really hope the NFL does not decide
Atlanta,
to
Miami,
legitimately propose this and legitimately
no,
bring it to a
that gets
today.
a double thumbs down, and I'd give 3 thumbs down if I had 3 thumbs.
Well, if our vote here at Belly Up Fantasy Live counted for anything
there's
in the world,
the 3rd thumbs down. My wife is giving it a thumbs down.
They're watching this. They're watching this. Roger's tuned in right now.
That's right.
They got
Jerry,
a little Spidey sense that we said
watching.
NFL and stupid in the same sentence, and they're all of a sudden we're showing up on all their TVs. Well, look, that is going to do it for us here on day 2 of Divisional Weekend. We wish you luck in all your betting ventures this week, because we know now that all the fantasy seasons are done, that is what it's all about. That is the reason why a lot of people are still watching football, because their teams are out of it, most likely. Just the math. But we wish you luck on those ventures. We wish ourselves luck. We hope we all win, and we will be back here next week for the conference championship.
I don't care.
Conference title games coming.
Conference title games should be good. I think either way, no matter what happens today, we're going to have some good games next week. So make sure to check back in. Keep an eye out for news coming up about Super Bowl shows here on the Belly Up Network. I know there's at least one or two planned, so keep an eye out for those promos coming out. Get all the information you need over on Belly Up Fantasy Sports, Belly Up Sports, and the appropriate Twitter accounts as well. We will see you next week. Have a great Sunday.